I'm just gonna give you a heads up right now. Stuff stinks. It smells like dog food. Add a little bit of spice, add a little pizzazz. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Bert, say hi. Bert, say hi to everybody. Say, oh my goodness, I missed you. We are all such good friends. Oh, isn't he so sweet? He's gotta rest. He has to rest. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thanks for giving me some grace last week with not uploading at all. I know I left kind of a vague little message on my YouTube community tab about what was going on, but yeah, we had an unexpected death in the family, and it was very, very sad, so we had to go home for funeral processions and everything, and to just be with family, and it was really, really nice to be with family and everything. But I appreciate you guys giving me some grace and all of your sweet messages that you put on my community tab. That was really, really, really nice to read, and some of you sent me some really nice messages on Instagram too, so I appreciate you so much, and I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm just gonna make myself cry. But yeah, I'm so happy to be back with you. I know this is not like my typical intro. I don't have a bah, that's not what this video is about. But yeah, oh, today's video, I am gonna be showing you my base routine. I'm filming this after I filmed the rest of the video because I needed a moment to get it together. And I love the way my base makeup has been looking lately, and I know you guys have too, because you've mentioned it, and that was super sweet of you. So I thought it would be cool to sit down, show y'all my base products. Most of them are drugstore, most of them are affordable. So yeah, I just wanted to sit down and share the process with you, show you how I get my skin to look so nice and glowy, and I hope that you'll do your makeup with me, or at least sit down, have a snack, and relax for a little while. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to see me do my summer base makeup routine, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. Alrighty, so step one is to prime. If you had told me 2 years ago that primer would be an essential part of my base routine, I would have laughed at you, because I very much used to think primer was a scam. But hey, we live and we learn our lessons, and here I am using a primer in my base routine. So I'm gonna go in with my Euphoria Pre-Game Primer. I've been doing like a pump and a half. A pump kind of gets the job done, but my skin's pretty dry to begin with, so I like a pump and a half. And I'm just gonna give you a heads up right now. Stuff stinks. It smells like dog food. I'm not trying to be mean. It just, I used to have a dog, and it does genuinely kind of smell like dog food, but it is so worth it because it makes my skin feel so good. It doesn't do a whole lot visually, you know, like it's not gonna give you like a glow from within like my Auric Glow Lust does, but it's truly like the perfect skincare makeup hybrid. I actually used this as my daytime hydrating serum for the last week when I was out of town and I didn't want to travel with like too much skincare with me. We had to get out of town quickly, so I just didn't have time to pack a lot. So I used this as both a makeup step and skincare step, and I gotta tell you, do you see my skin right now? My skin's looking good right now. This is nothing on aside from this primer. So I genuinely feel like I've seen skincare benefits from using this primer. And another thing I love about this primer, I know you're like, I didn't know someone could talk about a primer for so long, but here I am talking about it. Another thing I love about this primer is that it creates a barrier between your skin and your makeup. So even though I tend to stick with foundation products and blush and bronzer and all that stuff that doesn't have like fragrance or irritating ingredients in it, I got a couple products that do have irritating ingredients in it, so it's great to have a primer that's creating a nice protective barrier on my skin. And it does give, you know, it's not giving like a highlighty glow, but it's certainly making my skin look like it just took a big old drink of water. And I can't speak highly enough of this stuff. I wish it was a little cheaper because it was $38 and I didn't pay for it with my own money, but I do really like it and I'm definitely gonna keep using it. And like I said, I've actually seen skincare benefits from this, which I don't think I've ever seen in a makeup product before. So yeah, this is like the best hydrating primer I've ever tried. I absolutely love it, recommend it 1000%. Okay, moving on to foundation. I know in my last few videos when I've been doing my base makeup on camera, I've been ranting and raving about the Jones Road foundation, and don't get me wrong, the Jones Road with the foundation is still a love of mine. I still do like it a lot, but I'm sorry, I just keep going back to my Wet n Wild tinted hydrator. I'm not sorry, because this is $4 and the Jones Road foundation is $44. This is just the best foundation I've tried in a really long time. It's a tinted hydrator. I know people are very particular about you calling tinted moisturizers foundations, but when I say foundation, I mean like the foundation of my makeup, you know, my base product. So yeah, this has been a huge winner for me, and the reason I love it so much is because it does not break apart on my face throughout the day, which I've never had with the foundation before. Usually, you know, at some point in the day, it's gonna be breaking up around your nose a little bit. The corners of my nose tend to to be a dry area on my face and a lot of people's faces, so that's not like a deal breaker for me, but not with this guy. With this guy, it looks beautiful all day. It just wears so nicely. It's like undetectable on the skin. I love it so much. It's also got great ingredients like hyaluronic acid and squalane in here, and that's why I think it doesn't break apart or anything, because, you know, like squalane's a nice, rich, hydrating oil. Hyaluronic acid draws in moisture, so I feel like that's why it doesn't break apart and draw attention to dry patches, but I'm not a cosmetic chemist, so this is purely speculation. But yeah, let me stop screaming about it and get to the application. The one thing I will say is I didn't get the best shade for me. I got the shade Fair Pale, which is just a tinge neutral, and as you can see, I'm a cool tone gal. Can you see that I'm a cool tone gal? I am. So the way that I correct this slightly too neutral undertone on me is I take my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. This is the shade 160. It's a pink concealer. I've tried it in my TikTok tested videos before, so I just take a little bit of this. You can see it's super pink. I just take a literal small dab of it and I mix them together to correct my own foundation. And I find that the formula of the Maybelline Age Rewinder Concealer is pretty thin, so it doesn't like affect the formula at all. I've used this not mixed with the concealer before and mixed with the concealer, and it does not affect the way it does not affect the way the formula performs. So if you're a cool tone person like me and you ever get in a bind where you just like have a foundation that's a little too warm or a little too neutral, I definitely recommend picking up that Maybelline Age Rewinder corrector because it really comes in handy. You're gonna see after this I'm also gonna use it as an actual corrector, like on my under eyes, but I love that it's multi-use and I can use it for a bunch of different things. Oh, and as you can see, I am rubbing this in with my fingers. I've rubbed it in with a brush before and that works too, but I find that you get the most coverage using your fingers, and this is a product that works really well with your fingers too because I feel like it gets warmed up nicely. You know, like I said before, it's got squalane in it, so it's got some oils in here that I just feel like warm up really nicely with your fingers. And I especially really like to work it into the dry parts of my face because like the Euphoria primer, it just feels like really serum-y, you know? Definitely a little thicker than a serum. Maybe I shouldn't say serum-y, but it feels very skincare-ish. Like I used to apply my Rare Beauty foundation with my fingers. I don't do that anymore because when I was doing it, I could kind of feel the chalkiness. If you're a foundation with your fingers type of person, then you know what I'm talking about when you are applying a foundation with your fingers and you realize halfway through, oh shoot, this is not the prime application method, because you can feel it sinking into like the cracks of your fingers. But with this foundation, I don't have that issue. You know, it just comes right off my fingers because it's a little bit more oily. But I also love that this foundation is not like the dewiest foundation in the world. Like if you didn't like the look of the Jones Road foundation and you felt like that was a little too dewy oil slick for you, I feel like the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator is a great alternative because it does not give you that oil slick and also dries down a lot faster. The Jones Road foundation literally takes 2 hours to dry down, so that's a big con. Whereas with this one, you know, by the time I go and do my corrector and my concealer and go in with a powder bronzer, it's not sticking or going on patchy or anything, so it's pretty much dried down, I don't know, within like 10 minutes, I say, maybe even less. I don't really usually pay attention to that because it's always dried down by the time I need it to be. Okay, foundation is on. Now let's move on to correcting and concealing. So I used to do these steps separately, like I used to go in with a corrector and then a concealer, but now I just like doing them together. You know, I'm a little more quick and easy in the summertime. I know it doesn't look like it by the really intricate detailed eye look I have on, but I like to be a little more quick and easy with my base makeup in the summertime. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer, my beautiful pink concealer, and mix it with my NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. I actually really like mixing these together too because as much as I like the NYX Concealer Serum, it's a little creasy if you wear it on its own. Like it's not the best dry down. It's really hydrating. I feel like in the winter time, I'm not gonna need to mix this with anything, but the Maybelline Age Rewind Eraser Concealer definitely has more of a dry down to it. So when I mix these together, I just feel like it sets better. I don't powder my under eyes at all, so I need the concealer to like do the setting itself. And this is way more than I normally use. I took too big a pump of both, but I'm not gonna use all of it. So I like to go in with my little ring finger here and I start by applying a little dollop in the front, just right in the corner of my eye here. And then I do just like a quick dot in the middle, a little bit less in the middle, and then just a teeny tiny bit here as well. And usually I'll let that sit for a little bit to let it get a little thicker. That's a Jackie Aina tip I've been using for years at this point. She always lets her concealer sit and like marinate for a while so it gets a little thicker, you get a little bit more coverage, and I like to do that too. Usually I just let mine sit for like a minute or so and then I'll come back and blend it out. Alright, and that time I actually worked out perfectly because my camera battery died and I had to change it and then go wash my hands, so it's been about 2 minutes. So now I'm gonna go in with my middle finger. I probably should use my ring finger. I've heard that's like the softest finger, but my middle finger just feels easier to access here. And I just dab that out with my finger because it really warms up the product as you're doing that too, as opposed to a brush. I do have a concealer brush I was using a while from Real Techniques and I liked it, but just nothing beats that finger application for me. You know, if you're really trying to get a skin-like finish in the least amount of creases as possible, you know, at least I don't want to, you know, speak in generalizations because I know different techniques work for different people, but on my under eyes, applying with my fingers like this and really warming up the product has been the best for not creasing, and applying a light amount on the outer corner. I actually saw a TikTok from a girl last night. I thought this was so brilliant. She was talking about how you have like more movement out here. You see when I smile here, there's like a crease that happens out here, whereas in the front of my eye, you don't have as much like liney creasing, at least on my under eyes. So she talked about applying more concealer here and less out here. That way you give it less opportunity to crease out here. And I thought that was so brilliant. So I've been trying to apply a little bit less on the outer corners. You know, it's like, I don't really know what I'm covering up anyways, because I don't have a lot of discoloration over here. But anyways, here's my concealer. Isn't it so beautiful? And now what I like to do is, before I go in with my bronzer and everything, I just like to marinate on my products a little bit more in my NYX Bear With Me setting spray. I love this stuff. It is hydrating, but without adding like any extra dew or glow or anything. It's just purely hydration. It gives your skin a drink of water, and I really feel like it helps the products to melt into your skin even more. And I do feel like it adds just a hint of longevity. You know, it's not like an Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray or anything, but I feel like it adds a hint of longevity, and I just like doing it. So give me one moment while I apply like 10 spritzes of this. And then we gotta let it dry. How many did I do? Was that like 5, 7? I don't know. I don't have a particular amount of sprays I normally do. Honestly, I just do it until I feel like every square centimeter of my face has been covered in setting spray. And yeah, that feels good to me. So I'm gonna let that sit and marinate for a couple more minutes. I'm very big on marinating. I don't know if you've noticed that before. I like to let my dishes marinate overnight, and I like to let my foundation marinate for a few minutes before I move on to other products. So yeah, let me give this face a minute to marinate, and then we'll move on to bronzer and blush and all that good stuff. All right. It's been like a minute. I don't marinate very long. I'd like a quick marinade and then right on to the next step. So for bronzer, I like to go in with my Revlon Prismatic Skin Lights Bronzer. This stuff is so underrated. I don't know why I don't hear people talking about this more. Maybe because they don't have a great shade range. I'll definitely have to look into that more. I'm sure they could probably have a much better shade range in this, but the finish is gorgeous. I mean, Prismatic Lights is the perfect way to describe this. It's got a nice satiny sheen to it. Like, I say satiny because it's not a shimmery bronzer by any means. Like, this is not gonna make it look like you're wearing highlight on your face. It just looks very healthy, very glowy. It's very beautiful. And I also like it because it goes on pretty sheer, but you can also build it up, you know. I don't like a bronzer that's super pigmented right off the bat. I like pigmented eyeshadows. I do not like pigmented bronzers because I like a subtle bronze, and I tend to have a heavy hand with things, so I need products that can work well with me. Oh, I should tell you what brush I'm using too. This is an Eco Tools blush brush that I have been using for years. It was a Raw Beauty Kristi recommendation, and this is probably like the oldest brush in my collection. This is such a good brush. I'll link it down below. I don't remember exactly what it's called. I think I got it in a set with a highlighting brush that I decluttered a long time ago, but the blush brush is perfect. I use this for blush and bronzer. Oh, and the shade I use is 110 Sunlit Glow. And I usually skip contour most of the time. I was gonna say in the summer, I skip contour most of the time. I do have a powder contour I've been testing for my K-beauty video, and I like it, but in the summertime especially, I just wanna look bronzy. I wanna look a little bit sun-kissed. I don't care too much about looking sculpted. I just take whatever excess is left on my my brush? And I do like a little bit on the nose. I don't know. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for that. I just like doing it. See how easily this blends out? It's just so nice. I really like this bronzer. I highly recommend you check out this bronzer. Good drugstore bronzer for you. I got this for $4 at the Ocean State Job Lot, so it was a heck of a deal. Also, I'm pretty sure Revlon just filed for bankruptcy, which is like a huge bummer, but I don't know. Maybe that means their stuff will go on sale. Maybe you'll see it at TJ Maxx. Definitely pick up this bronzer if you see it though. All right, now moving on to blush and highlight. I'm gonna do them both at the same time because I am in my glowy powder blush era. I tend to always get into that era in the summertime because I mentioned earlier, I don't set my under eyes. I don't use any setting powder on my face, whether loose or pressed. I just do not set my face with powder, but I do like to use powder, blushes, and bronzers and highlights to kind of set this area of my face, if you will. I feel like it adds a little bit of longevity, and I'm gonna go in with one of the Oden's Eye Soulmane Sunlight Love blushers in the shade Roseate Love. As you can maybe see, it's like a nice glowy blush. This is just the most gorgeous, glowy, but also very blurring blush. I'm gonna have to look at the ingredients for this because I feel like there's gotta be some sort of like dimethicone or blurring ingredient in here, because sometimes a glowy blush can draw attention to texture on my cheeks. Like, I have a little bit of like tiny bumps over on my cheeks. Like, I do not have perfectly smooth cheeks over here, and I feel like even though there's glowiness in this product, like there's actual shimmer in here, it doesn't draw attention to that texture. Also, the glow, see, it doesn't look like a stripe at all. It just gives nice, very nice natural glow. How many times can I say nice? It's just so nice. And I put a little bit on my nose too. I could even build this up a little bit if I wanted a little more pigment. I will say, if you didn't see my review on these new Oden's Eye blushes, they do have an overspray on them when you first get them, which is a little bit more of chunky glitter. Not my favorite, but I mean, if you just get through that initial overspray, then you don't get that anymore. The sheen is all the way through though on this shade, Roseate Love. The sheen goes all the way through, so even after you get through the overspray on top, you're still gonna get a gorgeous sheen, and I think it's even prettier than the overspray. I don't know why brands ever do overspray. Like, I get it, it's to look cute, it's to add a little fun, add a little bit of spice, add a little pizzazz, but personally, I just wish they'd skip it because I just don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it looks great on my skin. Adding just a little bit to the forehead too. I've been doing this lately too. I don't know, I feel like I see a lot of makeup artists do this when they're like, oh, it hits her chin too. I feel like Katie Jane Hughes always puts it on her chin, and she looks beautiful all the time, so that's why I've been doing that. Okay, so now I'm done with my powders, so I'm gonna set my face again. I'm gonna do less sprays than before, maybe, I don't know. Let's see if I can control myself. I like this NYX Bear With Me setting spray because I feel like you can't overdo it, you know? Like, it's a very light setting spray. Like I said, it's just kind of like a nice drink of water. I can apply 1,000 sprays of this and I don't feel like it ever ruins the makeup. It just makes it look better. All right, I went ahead and added just my bottom mascara, threw on a little bit of a purple lip just to tie together this fun, colorful look in dewy base makeup. Let me tell you what the lip is, because I know you're curious. I can feel it through the screen. I'm using the Half Magic Beauty Angel Trick Lip Kit. Is that the one? The Liptrik kit in the shade Angel Rave. Yeah, so I had this Mouth Cloud, which is the shade Angel Rave, this gorgeous purple, and then I used the shade Honestly Yes as my lip liner. It's like a hot pink, but I did so much for this lip. I'm sorry, it's so many products, but I also went in with the Half Magic lip liner I Have Needs first, because it was kind of a nude lip liner. I was just gonna do the nude lip liner and the purple lip, but then it looked a little awkward. You know, this was like a little too warm tone, so I used the hot pink shade to cool it down a little bit and give you this very cute but wearable purple lip. And yeah, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about the skin, I know. But look at the skin, look at how glowy and gorgeous. I have coverage, but I definitely don't have full coverage. I mean, you can see my cute little birthmark peeking out here, but I feel like it does a good job of covering up the redness on my cheeks and giving a nice evening out of the skin tone. I feel like my under eyes look bright, but they don't look like they're gonna get super creasy. I'll also insert a clip. I'm gonna remember this time. I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone right now. Let me set an alarm. Set an alarm for 10:30 p.m. please. All right, we got it. The alarm is set. I'm gonna film an actual check-in at the end of the day because I know a big part of all the products I was talking about today is how well they wear throughout the day, especially the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. So I'll be sure to do a check-in, which you should be seeing right now. Alrighty, it's 10:45, so it is the end of the day. I've been wearing this base makeup for over 8 hours now, and I still think it looks incredible. I may have just like a teensy tiny bit of transfer from my mascara here. Honestly, I'm using the Maybelline Sky High Mascara in the shade Cosmic Black. It's got like beautiful little stars on it, and it's supposed to be extra black, but I swear this one transfers more than the original Sky High Mascara, so I'm gonna chalk any mascara transfer up to that. But as you can see, the foundation still looks good. It's like maybe a little more glowy in my T-zone, but not an amount that I mind at all. I think the blush and bronzer held up really well. They're still looking just as pigmented as they did before. You can see that I don't have any breaking apart of the makeup on my chin. My nose looks great. Truly, this foundation just looks undetectable the whole time you wear it, and I absolutely love it. And look at me remembering to do a check-in at the end of the video. Okay, now to outro me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm so excited to be filming again. Thank you guys so much again for giving me some grace last week and giving me time to be with family, but I'm very excited to be back with my YouTube family as well. So yeah, subscribe so you don't miss any videos. I'm gonna link all the products I used on my face today down below, the ones I mentioned, the ones I didn't. Like I said, I'll definitely be linking these eye products for you. Check out all these liners. Also in my description box, I'll have a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources, resources to support the Asian American community, and resources to support the LGBTQ+ community, and resources to support Ukraine. So please check out those links if you haven't yet. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!